Okay, and welcome back to Wrestling Mindset. Today we're here with the head coach of Southern Regional, Dan Roy. Dan, thanks for joining us.
No problem, Gene. Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. All right, great stuff. With some technical difficulties, but we persevered through and we're able to jump on the call. So it's good.
Yeah, great.
It's good to have you on.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I guess take us through what you guys did in the off season, things that were going on over at Southern. Obviously, you built a great program over there. You've been there for how many years now?
I've been there for 23 years now. So yeah, 23 years. So yeah, I'm from Wall. You guys know that. All my brothers wrestled for Wall. And I just wanted to mention, like, there before we get into that, I just want to say there's a couple people that helped us, growing up and everything like that. When we're gonna be talking about helping kids,
Sure.
and everything. So like, we had a lot of coaches in the community that helped us, because my family didn't have a lot of money when we were growing up. So we turned to the wrestling community, and that's the reason why we really got involved in wrestling, and why we've been involved so much ever since. So, like, my head coach Steve Jenko there, and my middle school coach Anthony Abiel, they really did a lot for us, and brought us to tournaments and drove us around and everything like that. And even, like, after, when I was to get to Stroudsburg, that's where I wrestled after high school. But both my middle school coach and my high school coach drove me up there to visit the coach, and because they were that concerned with trying to help me go to the next step, go to college, wrestling college, and all those things. So when we start talking about, like, what we do for our kids, it stems from people helping me. And before I went to Southern, I was at East Stroudsburg. I wrestled there, but I was able to be a grad assistant for a year. So Angelo Borzio helped me out with that, the head coach at East Stroudsburg. So he gave me a good, a position there as a GA, and I was able to learn a lot of things before I even got to go to Southern. So I was very happy for that, and I learned a lot of things. And he really gave me a great opportunity to start in my coaching career. But yeah, like I said before, since I got there, it was 2003, 2004. So it's a long time ago, Gene. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe you were wrestling in 2003, 2004. I think you were at Rutgers.
Yeah, I was at Rutgers at the time.
Yeah.
Andy was on the team, man. Yeah, it's Chris, you were just before I got in there, because Andy's 2 years older than me. And Nick and I are the same year.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
So I remember watching you in college, and even when you were at UPenn, I remember that too. So when I was coaching, you were at UPenn. So yeah, man, we go, we go back, man. But yeah, man. Like I said, I've been there 23 years. I've been teaching health and phys ed. I've been coaching ever since. I was assistant for 16 years. I took over. This is going to be my 7th year coming up. So 6 years down, and this is my 7th year right now as the head coach. And yeah, man, it's been a great ride, and I'm very grateful for being there. And we work hard, and the town and the community cares a lot about wrestling, so which is awesome. So
yeah, and one of the top programs in the state, year in and year out.
Yeah,
It's a public school, which is extremely rare nowadays. I mean, it's there's other good programs too, but I mean, Southern's always in the mix every single year, right there with these high-powered areas that are recruiting from all over the place. So it's you guys.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I mean, we train the off season. We have a great off season program. We train all summer. We have practice in the summertime at our place. We're always traveling to duels. Like, I'm in contact with the kids pretty much all year, because I do work in the school too. So we're going to tons of competitions in the off season, in the summer, and then even in the fall program. I'm the head strength coach there too in the fall. So I've got 65 wrestlers that aren't even in fall sports right now, lifting and conditioning with us at least 3 days a week. And then all those kids also go to clubs and stuff to get their wrestling in. So I mean, we do have the numbers, and boys and girls are training. So it's great, man. Kids really bought in, and they want to work hard, man. And we have a lot of kids that are all in. So
that's
it's
awesome.
good. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then, as you said, it's funny how, like, the things that come back to us, that pop back into our head. You said you were the strength coach, and I didn't think about this before the call, but popping back into my head from 2004 at the Rutgers days, I
Yeah.
remember hearing Chris Ressa, who was the year above me between me and
Yeah.
Andy,
Yeah. Yeah.
and Chris, and someone asked Chris Ressa, who is the strongest person you've ever wrestled with? And he said Dan Roy. It just
Yeah.
popped back in my head. That was back in
That's cool.
2004.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's funny. These things stick in your head. You don't forget them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Chris is
So
great.
no,
Yeah.
and I feel like the passion and the love of the sport is something that I see that just kind of just oozes through you. And I watch you on the mat and I see you, and you're excited for the guys. No, you're excited for the kids. Like you could really see you put your heart and soul into it. And when I talked to your brothers at Atlantic City, we're like, man, Dan was there and his face was all red. He's probably like, he loves it and he's great at it. And we're like, yeah, man, it's just awesome seeing someone who's passionate about it do what they love, and that connection with the kids. So just something that always stuck out in my head.
Yeah, I mean, you work with these guys all the time and girls, but you see the amount of effort that they give every day, and they all have goals, and you become like I've known a lot of these kids since they were little kids because we have a great rec program coming up. For years we've had a great rec program, and these kids stay in the program. The rec guys do a great job. My middle school program does a great job every year keeping the kids in, and then it stems right into the high school. And I've known a lot of these kids since they were second, third grade, and by the time they get to me, like we've got a pretty good relationship. I already got a really good relationship with the parents, and you see that everything that they go through, and then if they accomplish something that they really were working for, it's just amazing. And I think of them as my own children, so, and that's kind of where it is, where the passion comes from and everything. It just kid goes out and has a big win, or he hits a movie you're working on, you were working on something just that week and the kid hits the movie. It's just like, you're like, I don't know, I can't explain. You've coached before, I mean, it's just a cool feeling, man. You just kind of, sometimes I get a little crazy, but it is what it is, man.
That's the love. But and then the other thing I think about is being the big brother and having three younger brothers who wrestled in college, all really good. So so talk about how that your role in the family there, and how that kind of cultivated you to think like a leader and as a mentor, and as being the shoulder to be there for the kids. That's a role that you were put into, God given from a young age.
I was because like I said before, growing up, my parents worked all the time, and they got to more stuff as we got older. My dad was very involved in it. He was actually more involved as I was getting out of high school, with the younger guys and everything like that. But I mean, I kind of took that role. I would always watch out for them wherever we went. Was making sure they weren't getting in trouble. Not hanging out with the wrong kids. They got into wrestling because of me. I was the first one to started that whole thing. So, and we all kind of just trained together and worked out together, and we were supporting each other at each other's matches, and we would go and work on certain things like afterwards, and everyone had goals, where we would go to the gym and lift together and do all these different things, and like even when we went to college, it didn't change. So we were coming back, and I was coming back and watching my brothers, and we were teammates too. Like we were close in age, so there's 4 of us in 5 years. So then I was a senior, and it was me, Steve, and Andy in the lineup. And then when Steve was a senior, it was Andy, Steve, and Nick all in the lineup. And then Andy and Nick were together for a couple of years before Andy went to Rutgers. But I mean, it's just wrestling is what kept us close. Like we have a big, strong bond because of wrestling, and just what it entails with all the life lessons and everything. Because I really think we wouldn't have done what we did. All 4 of us went to college, graduated, all working now in society. And I think wrestling was a huge part of that. And, I was just making sure they were doing the right things all the time. I mean, and again, I still worry about them every day. It doesn't stop. It's like,
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
And I guess maybe I take that same role with the kids I coach too, so.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking about, because being the oldest brother myself, I mean, both my brothers surpassed me. It's like both Jeff and Greg did better than I did in high school. They, and then Greg in college and everything. So, and But it's not like how it kept your family together, kept our family together. It was
Right.
like it helped us build character. There's a lot of families where you don't see that, where it could have been, like what could have been if
Yeah,
they worked together rather
definitely.
than the egos. And of course, there's brother rivalry type from time to time, those
Yeah,
things. But
yeah.
overall, hey, it's all love and we're all on the same side.
You have a good support system.
Yeah,
You're hanging around people with similar goals that you have and
yeah,
similar lifestyles.
yeah.
And you want to succeed, and you're there for each other. So I mean, it's hard to, you can't do it alone. It's very, very hard to succeed if you don't have people around you that support you. And it's more positive environment. And you're going to talk, you're going to get into mindset and all that stuff probably later. But I mean, that goes with it all too.
Yeah.
Also. So
I was gonna say
yeah,
talk about the environment over at Southern, the
yeah,
support, the staff, and everything. Because like you said, it all comes together. It has to all be
yeah,
firing on all cylinders.
yeah. I mean, like I said, from the time they're young, there's high expectations, right? So and they all have high goals, and everyone's dedicated to help those kids achieve these goals. Like the coaching staff, I have a great coaching staff that all care about kids a lot, from the JV coaches all the way up to the varsity coaches, and we try to get these kids as many matches as possible. So like if we're going to a high end varsity tournament, like we go to the Escape the Rock and the Powerade, I'm sending kids to other varsity tournaments to get matches. And then we have tons of JV tournaments that we send them to. Also, the kids on the JV level, and then the girls have tons of things that they're going to also. And um, we have some paid stipends, but we also have volunteers that put in a lot of time for not a lot of money. We figure out, we try to help them out as much as possible with the Parents Club, but again, they do it because they love it and they want to help the kids. And a lot of my college staff has a lot of my high school staff has college experience, is what I was going to say. So I mean, and the community backs these kids. We still have the rec coach that's been there for almost 40 years. Smitty, he's at everything, and he did it for nothing for years. Didn't even have a kid come through the program, and he just loves it. And you just have people like that, and you have people that come to watch the matches like for years and years and years. They're just fans, and I won't even know who they are, right? And they'll just come. I'll see them out at the stores, and they'll want to know how the team's going to be, and they come to all the matches, and been doing it for years. And even former parents, they're into it also. We have a very good fan base. Administration is pro athletics, big time, from the upper administration all the way down to my athletic director, Chuck Donahue Jr., who all the sports take precedent. They support all the other programs, arts, everything like that. But I've noticed, especially through athletics, that we when we need something, they get it for us. And there's a lot of people at the matches supporting these kids. And even when we travel to different things, and we travel to like the state championship at Rutgers, and even when we go down to Atlantic City, we have a ton of people that are there cheering for these kids. And it just everything just builds off that, and it's a positive environment for that. Obviously, wrestling's a very tough sport, and you have to put the time in, you have to train hard, and you need to push these kids, past where they think they can go. But they know you're not there to punish them. I say it all the time. We're not doing this to punish you. We're doing this because we care. We know what you need to do to be able to get to where you want to be. And it's your choice. If you want to put the time in and you want to work hard, you're going to get to where you want to be, or at least you did everything possible, right? If you come off the mat and you didn't put any time in and you lose, like, why are you upset?
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't. So, but yeah, the environment, I just to see these kids grow is great. And I try to we try to use wrestling as a life lessons, teaching kids life lessons for later in life, and we talk about that all the time. And it's more about them becoming great people. Not wrestling's great. It's great to win, but at the end of the day, what's the whole package? You want to be a great person. You want to be good in society. You might go to college. You might do military. Whatever you end up doing, like you're gonna help other people and be productive. And that's kind of that's the lessons we try to preach to wrestling. And then, we have kids that come back and help coach.
Yep.
And we have tons of guys that do that. And
I was going to say alumni, proud
yep,
tradition,
yep, yep,
Olympian college wrestlers on
yeah,
top of the
yeah,
coaching
yep,
staff. It's like these kids see that there's people who've got it done
yep,
from Southern Regional.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, like you said, Frank Molinaro as an Olympian, and guys who are doctors or in the military. I've got guys that went to West Point that are still there. Uh, the Air Force Academy. Great schools. And I also have a lot of kids that went to police department. I have like 9 guys who I coach that are in Stafford Police, and I have other guys that are in state police. So and they come back and they help too. So I mean, and every single person says that wrestling was a huge reason why they were successful in whatever they do. Like, it's not even close. Like, everyone says it. So it's great that you feel good because you had something to do with that. You had something to do with teaching them to whatever part it was. It could be the littlest part. It could be a bigger part. But I mean, they remember what they went through with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, no, we say it's that character development
Yep.
and the virtue that it helps build. And if you have that, you could apply that to anything. But
Yes.
if you're just aiming at success, you might be highly successful in one area, but then when it comes to, that should translate over to school, your relationships, your future career as a citizen, as
Yep.
a son or daughter, so on and so forth, right? It shouldn't just
Yeah.
be compartmentalized to one area. So using wrestling for those bigger lessons, exactly. But wrestling is just such a rich environment. It's such a holistic sport. The technique, the strength, the conditioning, the nutrition,
Yep.
the mindset, the flexibility.
Got to be disciplined.
Everything.
Yep. Yep.
Everything. So it's all encompassing. I guess talk about the mindset aspect of it a lot. Now, what are some of the things you see the wrestlers struggle with? What are some of the things they need to address, to work on, these kind of things? And maybe how is it the same and different that you see from back when we were competing in high school?
I'll get to the one. I'll get to the differences of when we were in high school in a second. But like what I see. I see like what we try to say all the time is we work hard, right? We work hard. You should be in great shape. You shouldn't be getting tired in matches. I mean, for everything you guys put in, you should keep telling, like, things like that. You just work. You work so hard. You do all these things. Why are we lifting? Why are we practicing like this? Why are we doing extra sprints? Why do we go out to these big tournaments? Like, why are we getting a really good schedule? And I think that really helps them realize that we're at a top level. So if you're doing that all the time and you get into adversity, right, and you're not going to break mentally, right? You're not going to break because you don't break during all these crazy workouts. Why are you going to break when you're out there? There's no reason for you to break out there. You've pushed yourself past the limit so many times that, okay, well, I get tired in a match. Okay, I've been tired before. I felt this before. Right. It's not going to be a shock to my system. So I'm just going to keep moving on. Also seeing great competition, like, and under, the lights, big arena. Like, you go out to the Escape to Rock and the Powerade, and you're wrestling like guys that are nationally ranked, right? And it's a big tournament, it's a big deal. And then you get to Atlantic City, and we try to mimic the same
right
environment. So it's like, all right, well, I'm in these tournaments. This shouldn't be anything different, right? Even though Atlantic City, I mean, I do think it's one of the best stages in high school wrestling in the entire country, just because of how it's one state champion, and when you get in the finals, it's one mat, and you have all these people watching you, So, but again, that's as close as you can get to it by going to those big tournaments. Another thing I try to do, like, kids, you got to stay positive. They can't be thinking about, like, oh, I feel tired, or you thinking about what that other guy does, or think about what you do. Like, be prepared, but think about what you do, and don't think about how you're going to go about your match. Like, oh, I'm going to hit my high crotch, I'm going to hit my double leg, or what don't be thinking about, oh, well, this kid's, he's got a great cradle on top. What am I, don't freak out about it. Like, be aware of the stuff, but don't
dwell on it.
Don't dwell on what he has, but dwell on what you have. And like, I mean, I think the Penn State guys have the mentality going pretty good when they say, like, just go out and have a good time, have fun, right? Try to score points. I try to say that to my guys too. Like, think about scoring points. Don't think about the winning and losing aspect. Just stay on the offense, because I have kids that'll sometimes they'll get in a big match and they won't attack. They'll be in their defense, and they won't get after guys the way I know they can. And I've seen them do it in the room. You see, there are guys that are practice wrestlers, and they try to go over to the match, and they're a different guy, just because they can't, that they let all these things come in, and they it hurts them. And sometimes it's like a routine, right? They got to get in their routine. So it's whatever it is. Like, you make the weight, you got a certain meal you take, you eat. You got to make sure you eat good food, so you don't feel bad after the weigh-ins, and you're not crashing, right? So they got to make sure their nutrition's good. That plays a big part too.
Right.
Yeah, and they got to warm up properly. They don't get a good warm up. I tell them all the time. The first match of a tournament, you don't feel great unless you warm up properly, and then you feel good the rest of the tournament because you're warmed up. Right. So make that warm up be like your first match. That's what I tell them. They should be sweating bullets. They should be sweating like crazy, like they blow out those lungs.
Yep.
So when you get out there, your body's ready to go. And you can compare it to like Olympic sprinters. You see those people friggin' running all over the place, doing all these high
jumps and all that.
Yeah, high jumps, all those things, trying to get their muscles ready for that one sprint. Like, why do they do that? It's the same thing.
Ready to go. Yeah.
I think getting back to what we said before about how it's different than when we were younger. I just think there's more outlets. There's more outlets now. Like, there's, you have the internet, obviously, and you can go online, and you have, like, you guys do a great job with what you do, and you're out there. Like, there weren't really a lot of, there weren't really, like, what you had sports psychologists. Like, I remember having a sports psychologist when I was in my senior college. I was like, on my last year competing, like, my body was banged up. I really think that I overtrained personally. I felt that I had to go hard every day. I felt I felt if I took a day off, that I was losing something. When rest is good. Like, I'm thinking, okay, my back feels bad. I can barely move. But I still got to practice. Like, it was hard for me to take time off. And I think I needed to take a little bit more time. I had to get my runs in every day. I had to get my lifts in the morning. I had to do all these different things, and I was cutting weight and all these different, and you have to deal with school. And it is a lot. Especially, it's a tough, like, wrestling in college is I think it's the hardest thing to do, in my opinion. So going through that, and I dealt with confidence issues growing up. I did. I mean, I would, because I would be out. I sometimes I had issues opening up also. Like, I would be in the practice room, and we'd work in, and I would never get tired, right? And then all of a sudden, like, sometimes I would go out there, and I wouldn't.
First 30 seconds, yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Right. And I wouldn't do everything I wanted to do in the match. And then I come off the mat, I'd be disappointed that even if I won a match, like, I wasn't really happy, and I wouldn't be happy about, like, some of these matches, even if I won, because I just
had another gear in you. You knew there was another level.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, I don't know. I think by going through that, I think not, like, because I didn't do everything I wanted to do in college. I didn't accomplish everything I wanted to accomplish. But I feel that made me be a better coach, because I've been there, I've felt it, and I see kids that deal with these things, and I can say, listen, I've been there, I've seen people who are there. I've same thing with my brothers also. I mean, just growing up, and I've coached so many kids over the years that I've dealt with so many different situations where it'll bring you back to those kids, and you know what, this kid did this and this. Well, I've seen the trial and errors. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big thing in coaching. And then again, another thing, trying to motivate kids. Like, you can't motivate everyone the same way.
Yeah.
Like, I was good. Like, people, like, if someone called me out and got in my face and everything, I was good. Like, you would fire me up, and I would be good to go. So not everyone's like that. You might, right. So some kids will just shut down if you do that. you might have to take a kid aside and just like talk to them calmly and say, listen, man, this is the deal. Or after practice or whatever it might be. Or, I mean, you got to figure out different ways to talk to kids. Not every kid's going to, like I said before, not every kid's going to react the same way. And I guess you just learn this through trial and error all the time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the same thing if you're wrestling, like, when I first started, I was rolling, I would just wrestle a lot with the guys, and I would be out. I'm right out of college, and I'm like in college gear, and they'll still joke because a lot of them are still my good friends that I want. Those guys, and I'll come in. And I'm just trying to just beat them up, all the time, and not really let them score. But like I learned that that's not good. Like you got to let them score. You got to let them work through positions and everything like that. And or also they'll just I'm not going to say break, but they just get discouraged and they're like, okay, well, how are they going to get better if they're not in the position? Which I know, like, another thing that, a lot of higher programs like Penn State and other programs, they talk about play wrestling, right? You get in the position, you play, you do like 50%, 70%, and you just do like, it's not all 100%, but you let yourself like flow in the position and both guys get a feel. And we've been doing a lot of that
but not as big when we were competing. That wasn't a big thing.
It was not. That's a big difference. Because it was just like you get in there and you just grind, right? And it just you just got to go all the time. We get a good drill in, but then we would wrestle. I don't know how many matches in a row, like in practice, and then there wasn't really much of that. It wasn't the philosophy,
right?
For a lot of places, it just was. But
we're kind of all cultivated with the Gable mentality, which is great.
Exactly.
And that's why it's like there's almost like, not different levels, but different phases in a wrestling career. Like what you were saying, everyone needs to get to that point where I'm willing to break my back to get my goals. I'll do everything I can.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to overtrain. And then it's almost like, okay, now you've graduated. Now that you've internalized that,
right.
Now we have to talk about training smart. It's like the kids who start off thinking about, I'm going to be real economical and efficient with my training. They're slacking off because they're not, no, you got to get to that phase one, which is very hard to. I'm going to work out. I will do anything the coach asks. And then it's, hey, let's be smarter about it. Let's be a little bit more efficient and economical.
And you're right about that. And being smart, and, you have that there is a place for that. There's a place for the Gable phase. There is a place for that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're definitely 100%, and that gets you tougher, 100%. Right. But I think it has to be a mix of both.
It does.
It has to be a mix of both. It can't just be all one side and all the other side. Like you got to have your hard workouts that you're basically trying to break. Yep. You're trying to break them mentally, and for them not to break. You don't want them to break, but you want to be able to push yourself past the limit. But then we need to settle back a little bit, and we got to work on this. We got to work on position. We got to work on technique and all those things. I saw my brother Andy wrestle hurt a lot in college, and I just think that he would have had a better. Like he had a great career, don't get me wrong, but I mean, the injuries hurt him, and
I saw it firsthand with him. I know.
Yeah, and he finally started like taking a step back a little bit when he was older, but like he would wrestle hurt all the time, and it just like, when are you going to get healthy? And when he was a junior, I believe it was his best season because he made sure he was healthy. Even though he was still banged. Don't get me wrong, he was always banged up, but like you said, I think there has to be a mix of both philosophies, and I think now it's just you see it more on the TV, the internet, the way people train, flow wrestling. You can see the NCAA's every year. They're widely televised. It wasn't like that when we were kids. Like I think when I was in high school, like they would be on like 2 a.m. the finals. Like you had to like stay up and or your coach would like videotape it on VHS tape and you get it, right? And watch
There's
it.
Almost no wrestling you could watch. I mean,
exactly.
Every now and then Rutgers would be on TV and that's it. And then maybe the NCAA finals.
Right.
And it didn't even have the whole match. It would be like,
I know, you're right. It'd be clips. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So forget about the Olympics. Like barely any wrestling for the Olympics. And like they would be on so late. Now you can see you can see the Worlds, you can see the Olympics, all the styles. You can see everything with all these outlets that we have. I think it's just that's what made the sport better. And that's why all these kids are coming up, and you got kids in high school beating world medalists and pretty much almost medaling at the Worlds this year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you have heroes. It's like there was no concept to me. It was like I wanted to be a state champ, and then I want to be a Division I college wrestler, and that was kind of like a nebulous thing. Like I don't know exactly what that means. Like it's just I'm going to be a Division I wrestler. Yeah, I'd like to be a national champ, but I don't even understand that. Whereas now kids watching Flow Wrestling YouTube, and then seeing people who are like in our area who were doing it. There weren't clinics like this going on where there was Olympic medalists and world champions coming into like high schools or nearby high schools.
I know.
That didn't exist.
I know. It's evolved so much, and it's cool to see, man. And I think with anything, trial and error, and you see what these guys are doing. How do you be successful? You see someone who's successful and you try to mimic what they do, and then maybe you had your own spin on it, but it's the same stuff,
It is.
And that's why whenever I go to these clinics, I do not think I know everything. I'm always learning. If I see something that's working better, I'm going to do that. Like I'm not stuck in my ways at all. Like my philosophy is where it is, but I mean, the sport is always evolving and changing every day. So it's like something that was big 10 years ago is not now. Like basics, you'll never lose basics. Basics will always be around to the end of time. Guy who has the best basics has the best chance to win, in my opinion, unless you get caught like here and there with something. But basics is what you see it at the highest level. They all use basics. Yeah.
Solid, fundamentally.
Yeah. That's what you need. 100%. I mean, but like some specific little things. Like I can go to a clinic and watch somebody and they'll do something a little bit different. And I'll be like, that's pretty cool. Let me try that. And maybe that won't help everyone, but maybe it'll help a couple kids because maybe they get in that position and they're like, I just can't figure it. It doesn't work. I can't just doing that. Oh, this works a little bit better for me. So I'm going to do that.
Different field, different body type.
Exactly. You're right about that. Different body type. Yeah. I agree.
It all makes difference. Like you said about how you feeling that you had the nerves, because I felt like that being like a practice room all-star when I was competing, and then like in matches, like there's another gear. It's like once you've experienced it, then you have like an idea of how to help people more. I think of Cale. We brought up Cale Sanderson over Penn State, where if you remember, after he won his 4th national title, they asked him in the interview on ESPN. They said, "How did you handle the pressure?" You remember what he said? I said, "Not well."
Yeah, I know. He was going to be to be undefeated in college, man. I mean, every match he's probably,
Which I mean, like he wrestled against John Trench, who was like Mr. Everything before that, and he just dominated him. And he said he didn't deal with the pressure very well. But then to see that what he did then now at Penn State, how he brought their mindset coach, their sports psychologist from Iowa State over to Penn State, and they're working with the guys. Their mindset coach is like right there all the time, and like he's very secretive. No one knows what he says in the room. But when you listen to their interviews, they all say the same thing. They thank God. They talk about being thankful for for the opportunity. They talk about being aggressive and scoring points, and they talk about having fun. It's literally faith, gratitude, fun, score points every single interview. So you know what Cale Sanderson is saying in the room. It's no mystery.
No, it's not. It's not, man. And I like the whole thing. You don't have to do something. You get to do this thing. You get to, it's so great. I get to be at practice today. I get to wrestle in this competition. I'm so grateful for that. And because that puts a positive spin on everything. You're just grateful for the opportunity to be there. Yeah. It's not like, oh my God, I'm in this high pressure situation and what happens if I do this and what happens if I do that? No, man, I'm just great. This is great. It's amazing. Everything. The environment's great. Just think positive. And like you said, gratitude is very, very big. Oh, yeah. And I've been trying to say that to my kids too for years now, and just have fun and be grateful and train hard. And all those things are it's great stuff. And you see it, man, like I said, you see it working at the highest level. Yes. So,
and that's the wisdom is listening to someone who's been there before.
Yeah,
right? Like
understand.
The kid who thinks they know it all. When you think you have all the answers, for sure you need to change your questions, because wisdom is learning from other people's experiences. And when they zoom out, like you said, I like what you said before about why are you doing all these sprints? Why are you doing the hard work? Because it's so basic to say, it rolls off the tongue, but no, really think about that. Anyone could go through a hard practice and just grind it out. But then to take that extra step, that one extra step mentally, which makes all the difference. Why am I doing this? So that when before my matches, I have confidence, I'm ready to go. And then fast forward to the warm up before the match, and you say, "Oh yes, the why that I did all that comes flooding back." But if we don't take that one that simple mental step, and kids get to, we're not trained to be very focused. Just by the way, social media, video games, kids' minds.
A lot of distractions.
So they don't stop and think sometimes. And I'm not perfect at this either, but just taking that step. Why am I doing this? Work hard, but why am I doing it? And then you bring it back to you before the match. And I love how you said that.
Yeah, no, it's great advice. It's awesome. Yeah.
Yep. And like I said, each kid's a little different. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm good. But
just each kid being a little bit different, knowing how to relate to them. I think about Gable. He used to talk to them like, well, hey, what do you need before a match? What can I give you? And I remember when he was on our show, he said, you have to be careful because a kid doesn't always tell you. They tell you what you want to hear sometimes. And it, like we have to actually also observe, what is actually working for this kid. Like I'm going to listen to you, but I'm also going to watch you and see if that's right.
No, I agree. I agree on that.
Oh, great stuff, Dan. So what do we have coming up for the season? What are different things? Who's on the schedule?
Well, we always do our own tournament, the Robin Leff Invitational. That's at our place. It's been going on for years. So we open up with that tournament. It's grown. We have 7 mats down now. We have four mats that go in the 11-12 building gym, and we have 3 mats in the 9-10 building. And now we have those the track wrestling clocks that are it's a paperless tournament. Before it was paper, but now we were able to do that. It's up to 22 teams, and we have quite a bit of good teams that come in for that. So you have Delsey that's been coming for years. Camden Catholic comes. We have Blair. Blair brought a lot of their starters last year. Mount Olive, Phillipsburg's coming this year. We have P-Burg coming, North Hunterdon. And then you have some, local teams also that come in. But I mean, there's teams from, I think Seton Hall Prep's coming this year. Parham's Catholic. So we have a lot of the top public schools coming, and also some of those private schools. So it's on the format where we don't have to, we don't break down or anything. We just run the tournament. It goes quicker. And we kind of break the tournament weight classes up. So let's say you're 106, all your matches are in the one gym the whole day. So we kind of break it up to trying to get the best possible number. Like we'll have more kids up in the 11-12 than the 9-10. So it runs smoother that way. But yeah, man, it's developed into a really good tournament. And it's more focused on, there's no team title. It's more focused on getting the kids good quality matches. And we're not really crazy. Yeah. And we're like, the philosophy is like, and we do have the seeding process, but it's not really, the main focus is making sure the guys get good matches. So it doesn't matter if the kid wrestles in the semis or whenever they wrestle. I mean, it's obviously a good tournament, but you just want to get quality matches in the beginning of the season, see where you're at, and then move on.
Right.
So it's
important.
Yeah. It is. Like, where do I have to be? Like, if you're just beating everybody bad every weekend, and then all of a sudden you get mid-season, you get your first tough competition. All right. Well, I should have been working on that. Like, you should have been working on that stuff already. Like, so you can kind of see where you're at. And we allowed people to bring a couple extra kids also. And it's. After that, we have North Hunterdon on the schedule. We wrestled them last year. We're wrestling them again this year. They were the overall Group 4 champs last year. So Dave Bell's been doing a great job there, and he's a great guy. And it was good. It's we started that up last year, wrestling them. So we're going to continue that. We're wrestling P-Burg this year. They're coming to our place. Mount Olive. We always go up to a Mount Olive quad every year. We wrestle High Point and West Essex up there in a quad. And then we have our schedule where we have they change the short conference divisions. Like we used to be in something called A South, where it was, that division used to be a pretty good division for years and years and years. And it started to go down a little bit, but they've the short conference has taken like, okay, they take the best teams and they put them in the best division. And then there's like an A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way down. So we're in the A division. we were in the A division last year. We're in the A division this year again. So it's us, CBA, St. John Vianney, Rumson, who they've been up and coming the last few years, and Brook Memorial. So then we wrestled that schedule also. We're also wrestling Delsey this year. So they were the overall Group 3 champs last year. Yeah, so it's a tough schedule, man. I mean,
battle tested.
Yeah, definitely. And then we're going to the tournaments, like we're going to Powerade. We're going to Escape the Rock, which are the two of the toughest tournaments in the country. Two of the tougher, up there. Like you have the Ironman too, but like I think Powerade is right there. And Powerade and Escape the Rock, and you get to see all those different teams also. And you get to see some of these ranked opponents, like I was talking about before. But yeah, man. I mean, these guys don't really have a break, and we're going to be young. We're going to be young this year. We lost quite a bit of seniors last year. We lost our state champion Wyatt Stout. We had 4 guys placed last year. 2 of the guys that placed are back, but and then I had another kid that was around at 12 at 190 last year. He's back, but we have a lot of kids. We have a very good freshman class coming in this year. So we're going to be young, but we're going to be tougher than people think we're going to be. I believe, but hey, it's going to be fun. Should be fun. Awesome. There's probably not as much pressure, but I mean, there's still a high expectations, but it's going to be cool to watch these guys get better and to see them compete, in all these different competitions. So,
excited to see it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see it, man. Yeah, it'd be good.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, where do we send them so they could look at more for Southern wrestling? So I guess Instagram.
Yeah, we have a Facebook. It's Southern Regional Rams Wrestling on Facebook, and then we have an Instagram, and it's SR Rams Wrestling, where we have a great person that does our social media. She puts puts the schedule, anything up and coming with the team, boys and girls. It's on there. She puts pictures on there. She takes tons of pictures, all the information that people want to see. We have fundraisers that we do too. During the year, during the season. So yeah, I mean, we're pretty active on social media with everything. So
awesome. All right, we want to encourage everyone to check that out. And thanks, Dan. Really, really good stuff. Excellent. You're always welcome back to come on. Love to pick your brain as the year goes on.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Thank you very much.
All right. Absolutely. Take care.